Now there is a reflex there, guys, that we were taught in school, and what you do is you stroke the inside of the thigh, and those things come up, okay? That's a somatovisceral reflex. I was asked for one on my state boards, okay? I didn't use that one. Would have been funny. There's also the cardio-anal reflex. I think I taught you guys, right? Cardio-anal, guys, you stick a finger in the guy's hiney or the girl's hiney, and guess what happens to the heart? It goes quicker, okay? That's the cardio-anal reflex.
Which is sort of ironic, because if you're going with the anal reflex, that would be parasympathetic. But if you're at the cardiac, it'd be sympathetic. So you sort of have a contradictory reaction.
Totally different. Yep, crazy. So that's what happens with that. Okay, so everybody go with the cremaster muscle. Cremaster muscle, guys, running up and down, okay, to the testes. And the dartos is going to be in the scrotal sac. Which one wrinkles?
Dartos.
Dartos. Which one lifts?
Cremaster.
Cremaster. Another term for lifting is elevation. Elevation. Okay? So we're good with that. Okay? Now, let's take a look at our friend, the testes. You know, he's my friend. Might not be yours, but... Okay. Guys, the testes are kind of interesting, because when we are developing, okay, our testes is equivalent to what in a female? The ovaries. Now, guys, for a short period of time, okay, the male and female fetuses look identical. Okay? Can't tell the difference between them until our hormone productions start taking over. Now, guys, look where the male testes are. They're up high in the abdomen, guys, next to your kidneys. Okay? And they have to take a nice trip through your abdomen, okay, and find two little holes in the inguinal ligament, and hopefully make their way down into the scrotal sac. Okay? So they have a nice, what the Australians call a walkabout. Okay? They have a walkabout. Now, guys, what's really cool is they're hooked up with a elastic type tissue, so it's almost like a rubber band, called the gubernaculum testes. You will need to know that, guys, for lecture. Gubernaculum testes. Yeah, Gubernaculum. Gubernaculum testes. Testis. Okay? Now, guys, 2 months old, we got our gonads growing inside next to the kidneys, okay? And then they start their good old descent, okay? As they descend downward, guys, once again, they will ultimately find their way through two little holes in the inguinal ligament and then pop into the scrotal sac. Takes about 7 to 8 months for this to totally complete the trip. Okay? Now, sometimes one of the testes doesn't make the whole entire trip, and it's caught up in the abdomen. Okay? We call that cryptorchism. You won't need to know that, just for your own shits and giggles. Okay? Cryptorchism, guys, that's your friend with one nut. Okay? Usually stuck up in the abdomen. All right? What happens there, guys, is the testes, if it remains in the abdominal cavity, is too hot. So it basically becomes what? It becomes useless, guys. All right? But doctors don't like to keep it in the abdominal cavity, so they will go up and do surgery, guys, to take it out, because they don't want it to become precancerous and then possibly becoming cancerous. So they'd rather remove it, okay? Now, if you have one testicles, that is fine enough for the male. You can survive with one testicle, okay? And actually, guys, the reproductive system is the only system that we don't need, believe it or not, to survive. Okay, so once you're grown, they can remove the whole system and you will survive. You might not be happy, but you can technically survive without it. Okay? Okay, Now let's get down to Mr. Testicle. Come on. Okay, nice big picture here. Okay, so guys, here's the testes right here. Okay? Now what's inside the testes, guys, is going to be the seminiferous tubules. Guys, these things are so freaking small. These tubes are so small, and they're just wrapped around inside the testes, guys. That is where sperm production takes place. Okay? Now, what's going to happen, guys, as the sperm start to mature, they will be moved out. Okay? Now, from here, guys, they go into something called the rete testes. The rete testes is like another holding room for sperm. Okay? Once they get mature, guys, then they go into this thing here, which I call the backpack of the testes. Okay? And that is called the epididymis. Epididymis looks like a backpack, guys, on the testes. And if you men in here start performing your own testicular exams, just like a woman does, hopefully, her own breast exams, if you palpate your testes, guys, I know some people sometimes get freaked out because they feel a lump on the back. That's the epididymis. Okay? You don't even realize that they have them there. Okay? The epididymis, guys, that's the backpack. Now, what's really cool, guys, these seminiferous tubules, okay? If you stretch them out, I would love to just see how they do this stuff. If you stretch it out, you got about 1.5 miles of tubules in those two little testes. Right? Don't you just love that? I would love, okay guys, we got the testes, we're going to pin down the tube and start walking. Right? And you're walking and you're walking, and next thing you know, you're at the bakery in town, right? 1.5 miles away.
Like, what's that?
Yeah, somebody's like, what's that train?
Like thinks of that.
Right, like how-
you do
how
this,
they-
like, like, gee, I wonder how long this
Right.
is. Here, you take this and go
Right,
walk out.
keep walking.
Let me know.
That's crazy.
So guys, that's the seminiferous tubules. Now guys, we produce about 1 billion sperm. About 1 billion sperm in these things. Okay? So you young bucks in here, you want to impress a woman? Tell her you're a billionaire. She'll be thinking money, you're thinking sperm, right? Okay. Now guys, the sperm comes out of the epididymis, out of these tubes, and now it goes into what we call the ductus deferens. The ductus deferens, also known as, anybody know what else? The vas deferens. Okay? Now guys, that is the tube that will ejaculate out the sperm. Okay? And once again, what's really cool, guys, is the sperms aren't rocket men. Okay? They don't self-propel themselves. You get peristaltic contractions here, just like the rest of the system. Pretty cool. Okay? Pretty cool, strong contractions, especially when you're young. Okay?
So what's in parasympathetic?
Yes.
Anytime peristaltic, it's parasympathetic.
Yes, it's going to be parasympathetic, believe it or not, guys. Even when you're hyped up, excited, and horny, that's parasympathetics. Okay? I got that firsthand. I was a young guy.
Call it fever.
I was, what do you call it?
Feed or breathe. It's like breathing like fight or flight, the sympathetic.
Right.
I was taught parasympathetic as feed or breathe.
Oh, it's rest of digest.
Feed or breathe, rest to digest and reproduce.
That's all I like.
So guys, I was dating this girl, 16 years old. Her parents went away. Good old horny boy that I used to be. Finally got my girlfriend alone. Right? Started getting in the mood. Blah blah blah. And all of a sudden, I hear the car door of her parents pull up into the driveway. What kicked on?
Sympathetic.
Fight or flight, right? So good old Mr. Longfellow became Mr. Shortfellow, and that was the end of that experience. So sympathetic shut it down, parasympathetic stimulated. Okay? Now, let's follow the path, guys. Whoop. Don't want that, don't want that. Come on. Okay. Now guys, here's the testes, here's the epididymis, okay? Here's that ductus deferens, guys. Now what follows along with the ductus deferens are going to be nerves, arteries, veins, and some lymphatic vessels, okay? Now guys, all of those structures combined, that is called the spermatic cord. The spermatic cord. Okay? Spermatic cord, veins, arteries, ductus deferens, and the nerve. Did I say that already?
Vein, artery, nerve, lymphatics.
And lymphatics and the duct. All of those combined together, guys, that is the spermatic cord. Okay? Everybody go with that? Okay. Now, let's take a look where this sucker goes. Come on, side view, side view. Side view. Here we go. So once again, guys, testes, epididymis, ductus deferens. Guys, look, it loops up and around the bladder, goes posterior, guys. Okay? Comes down now. This is all ductus deferens, and once it hits the prostate gland, guys, we have a set of glands here, one on each side, called the seminal gland, and that's going to twin in with the ductus deferens, guys. So right here, where they come together, and it pierces through the prostate, that is called the ejaculatory duct. Okay, the ejaculatory duct, guys, look, goes through the prostate and hooks up with that prostatic urethra. Okay, now it shares, guys, the rest of the urethra with the urinary system. Okay. All right. Does everybody go with that? Mm-hmm. Yes. No. Talk to me.
All right, what was that? Goes to the prostate. What does it become?
The ejaculatory duct. That is the ejaculatory duct. Now, guys, what you're getting there is you're getting the sperm from the ductus deferens, and now you're getting secretions from the seminal gland. Okay? And while it goes through the prostate gland, we're adding even more stuff. Okay? So now our sperm, guys, is loaded and ready for a survival in a harsh environment. Where are they going? To the vagina, right? Guys, the vagina, I don't know if you guys know who Eddie Murphy is. You guys know who Eddie Murphy is? Yeah. He used to do a stand-up skit about having sex with a female, right? Mm-hmm. And he called it like the unknown hole, because you don't know what the hell's inside there, right? But anyway, guys, that environment is acidy, okay? The vagina is an acid environment, guys. It's like the bat cave with hydrochloric acid, right? So, first thing it wants to do is what? Kill things. The first thing the vagina wants to do is kill things, right? Still works like that, guys. When you get married, it still does that function, right? It wants to kill you, okay? So anyway, guys, we're going to pick up some alkaline secretions to knock out the acid, okay, and allow our sperm to survive instead of getting an acid bath, okay. We're also going to hook it up with some fructose, because fruits are good for you, right? And fruit is energy, so we just powered up our sperm for that 3-day journey into the fallopian tubes. Okay, so these guys are swimming for 3 days. Now guys, sperm aren't smart. It's really funny. If you ever get a chance to see them on a video, look it up, National Geographic, you know, pull up human sperm. And it's great because when they enter the vagina, they drive just like men do. You'll see some doing right-hand turns, see some doing left-hand turns. Some of them are going back the wrong way. Okay? Some of them finally start going the right way. They're all over the place, guys. So that's why we need 1 million sperm to fertilize one freaking egg. We only need 1 sperm to make the trip. Okay? Okay. So we came up through the vastus deferens. Now, if anybody gets, what do you call it when the guy gets clipped? Vasectomy. Guys, the vasectomy, what they do, it's right in the office. They take your scrotal sac, they numb it, and then they put a little cut in the side. They go in with a probe and yank through the ductus deferens. They take a nice hot scalpel and they just cut it, and it shears at the same time, and it gets cauterized, which means what? The ends are burnt close, okay? That's it. They stick it back in, they sew you up, tell you to go home and put your nuts on ice for a little while, and you're good to go. Okay, it's a very quick procedure. I had a bunch of friends, thank God they didn't ask me, but I had a bunch of friends when they all turned like 40. They must have had a vasectomy party, because like 6 of them went to the doctor and they sat there, and one after the other they went in and they all got sterilized.
Why?
One guy, because they didn't want kids anymore. One guy got infected. My friend Big Jim, Big Muscle Jim. Okay. Within like a few hours, he says his nuts were like the size of cantaloupes. And he went back to the doctor, and the doctor was trying to inject him with the numbing solution, the Novocaine. It doesn't work when it's inflamed. So they had to recut him open and get all the pus and stuff out. He wound up in the hospital on like IV and stuff. He's the only guy I know that got that ever had an infection from that procedure. Okay? So don't want kids, the way to go. Okay, so now guys, coming around, we're going to pick up the seminal glands back here, prostate, ejaculatory duct, and then we go right back into the prostatic urethra. Right here, right through the
Oh, so that is,
prostate.
as it goes through,
Yep.
through the
Through the prostate.
ejaculatory duct.
Yep.
They come together to make the ejaculate.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes? Question? Oh. Guys, anybody know why men pee after they have sex? To clean out the what? Clean out the spongiosum. Right? Clean it all out. Now guys, the reason why sperm is very sticky, and if you don't pee right away, guys, this all gets glued down, and if you take a piss, it has to rip back open, and sometimes it will rip the epithelial tissue in here. Okay? So once you're done, go to the bathroom and get the hell out of there. All right? All right. Now let's go down to the penis now. Bladder, penis. Whoa, penis. I love this picture. It reminds me of President Nixon. I don't know if you guys know who Nixon was. Had the big jowls, big nose. Every time I pull this thing up. Okay? Now,
Another slide.
He's so like,
right next to it.
so long that it's just like.
And his name was Dick Nixon. Figure that one out. So anyway, guys,
But you remember
here's
it.
the shaft
you
of the
remember it.
penis. Okay? Down at the tip, guys, we call that the glans penis. Okay, the glans penis. Joe the plumber calls it the head of the penis. Okay. Now, guys, the head of the penis is usually covered with a tissue around it called the prepuce. Prepuce, guys, that is the tissue around the head of the penis. Men here in the United States usually got circumcised. They take that tissue off. Okay, a lot of Europeans don't get circumcised. Okay, so the reason why behind it, guys, anybody here have an innie belly button? An innie belly button? I have an innie belly button. Okay, an innie. Okay, and you'll notice, guys, at night when you pick up your shirt and you look inside there, there's what?
Dirt.
You got lint, dirt, whatever you ate for lunch and dinner. Right? It's a collection point. Guys, what used to happen is the prepuce, since it's skin around there, the guy would get stuff in there. And back in the day, guys, like when my parents went through World War II, my dad went through World War II, his father went through World War I, these guys didn't have underwear and shit like that we wear today. Okay? So they would get everything in there. Okay? And then they'd have sex with a girl and get what? Get infected. Okay? So they thought that it was more sanitary to remove the tissue than leave it there. Okay? Or you could wash it. You know, but you know how guys are. Especially boys, right? Young boys. Right? All dirty. Okay? So this is the glans. Prepuce would be over it. Shaft of the penis. Okay? Now, guys, the penis is pretty cool because it is flaccid and then it gets erect. Okay? It's like those party toys. You ever see the party toys that roll out? You blow air into it, it goes woo. Right? You guys know that. That chamber, guys, that we're filling up with air, we actually have 3 chambers to the penis. 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom. Okay? And those will fill up with blood. Okay? During excitation. Now what happens, guys, we have sphincters back here at the blood vessels that are always closed. Okay? Now, we get excited, parasympathetics kick on. These muscles do what? They open up, blood comes into the penis, the guy gets his erection. Okay? All of a sudden, people come around, you get stimulated by the sympathetics, they tighten up, goodbye, Mr. Erection. Okay? Now, these chambers, guys, let me show you the chambers. Oh, female, you want male. Ooh, here they are here. This is that Lorena Bobbitt picture. Okay? We're going to have 2 chambers up top, guys. These are called the corpus cavernosums. Corpus cavernosums. 2 corpus cavernosums, guys. Now, on the bottom, we're going to have the corpus spongiosum. Okay? That's where that spongy urethra goes through. Okay? Now, those 3 chambers, guys, get filled up with blood and give the man an erection. Okay? Everybody go with that? Mm-hmm. Okay, let me see if I have another picture of it. Ooh, that was nasty. Another picture, another picture, another picture. Here it is here from the side, guys. Remember, up top, we're going to have 2 corpus cavernosums. And then underneath, guys, we're going to have 1 corpus spongiosum. Guys, it's like taking 3 hot dogs. 2 on top, 1 on the bottom. Drill out the bottom one for the what? Urethra. The urethra. Okay? That's how it is. Okay? Okay. Now, guys, what's really funny, or I guess it isn't funny, but you can break your penis. you can fracture the penis. Okay? Just like going to your birthday party and taking out that blow toy. You ever get one that has a crease in it? And it goes, right? It goes out to the side. Right? That's what happens to the penis. So it looks normal, fine and dandy. The guy gets an erection and it goes, right? It's called Peyronie's disease. I don't know why they call it a disease. I guess because men, when shit happens to men, it's what?
It's a big deal.
It's major, yeah, it's serious, right? Okay?
What do you call
So
it?
it's a disease when I break my penis, right?
What do you call it?
Peyronie's. Look it up, it's crazy. Pictures are crazy.
Nah.
P-E-Y-R-O.
On Peyronie's?
It's P with a P?
Wow.
P-E-Y-R-O-N-I-E.
Yeah, Peyronie's is nasty. Right?
Yeah.
How do people usually get Peyronie's, guys? It's crazy.
R-O-N-I-E.
Little boys with hard-ons run in with a sled. I don't know why you'd have a hard-on and run with a sled, but and then they leap on the sled. Pop, there goes one of the chambers in the penis. Guys having sex, okay, too frantically, they pull out of the girl right into the bed, pop, there goes the penis. Okay? So you can break it. Okay? Anybody pull it up? You pull up the pictures, Danielle? Peyronie's. How do they fix it? It's a nasty surgery.
Why does it sound like it's
ceiling.
Yep. Come eat at Peyronie's.
They have hot dogs, but they're sort of like.
Guys, you gotta look. I gotta get pictures of it. It looks like a trailer hitch. No. Peyronie's. No, they're freaking nasty, man. You find it yet?
No. I found the pink flower.
Peyronie's. Okay. P-R-O-N.
Oh.
No thanks.
Yes.
Something I'll remember.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's see what else we got in here, guys. We got bulbourethral glands. I don't know if we have them on here. Oh yeah, they do. Little white thing. That's it. Yep.
See, I told you not to do it like this.
Found it?
Oh, no, don't, no. This is found it.
That looks like a finger.
I don't think it's
The surgery to fix it, guys.
Oh, I don't want to see the surgery.
Looks like an indicator.
Nasty.
You do know. It tells me not to do something.
There's the left-hand turn.
Oh, shit.
Why is this commercial even on TV? What the hell is it? And I looked it up and that was the wrong one.
Crazy.
Ignorance is bliss, kids.
It's true.
I was like, oh, and that's from
You probably have
Oh, she
I don't see no one.
No.
And then my husband.
That is the word. He's actually the word.
Yeah, they got some crazy ones, man. One time I saw one, it looked like the guy could use it on the world's strongest man and pull a train with it. It was like a trailer hitch, like went straight up to the sky. It's like crazy. Okay,
So how do they do the surgery? Do
they go in and actually have to reconfigure the chamber there. They have to take that crease thing out and fix it. And a lot of times, guys, it's never the same. Okay, it's never the same. Right? Crazy stuff. Now I had my father's friend, when he got old, he couldn't have an erection anymore. So back then they gave you a choice. They either implanted a piece of plastic that would keep the thing stiff all the time, okay? And you just fold it up, and that would be the end of it. Or he wound up going with something new. He actually put a valve in his scrotal sac, and in his abdomen they put a bladder with saline solution. And they ran these tubes through the corpus spongiosums. And what happened was, he wants to have sex, he presses the button, and the thing would fill up with saline. And you can leave it up for years. Okay? You don't want to have sex, you press the other button, and the saline goes back into the bladder.
Damn, that's sad.
Does that help out?
Hold on, let me press the button.
Yeah, apparently these
Wife finds out where his ass and he's sleeping.
weird because
You know somebody? No, I'm just saying. That is sad.
The hormones
Your wife said,
affect what?
let's get it properly. There, get the way. Nah. Gross. You get drunk and everything kind of stuff. You're like, I'm getting
I guess no problem because they're just loading it up. What's that? Apparently, he didn't complain.
He doesn't have to be aroused, I guess is what she's saying.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be around. He can just turn on a switch.
That's crazy.
That'd be funny, right? You're sleeping with your leg crossed over and shit's happening.
Got hydraulics in
Hey, Doc, my pump broke. Yo, be cool if it's hooked up to something like this, right? Hanging out. Always automatic. That'd be cool.
You have to get app with it.
Gotta think of that. Okay, so that is the male. Oh, guys, right behind here, we're going to have what is called the bulbourethral gland. It's a little tiny gland, guys. It's going to secrete some mucus in there. It's called lubricant. Okay. We'll see that. You can actually see it in here when I come around to do the male reproduction system. Okay, we got that. We got. I
Bulbourethral
thought we
gland.
had
It's in this one. I
another
found it.
one. Where's that Lorena Bobbitt?
What's it for?
Oh, I don't even know what this is. It's probably gonna be in there in the reading.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Jody, you okay?
All right, so we are here. We are here. All right, they have that one. We don't need that one. Okay, so guys, some of you guys come on over.